Ohio Republicans are not happy with Governor Mike DeWine when it comes to his leadership in the coronavirus pandemic. So now, wait a minute. Is it because Ohio is seeing a similar spike in coronavirus, like Arizona, Texas, California, and other places where we've seen gigantic spikes of infections? I mean, Florida had a devastating weekend. Last Friday, there were 9,000 cases. Now, on Monday, we had over 5,000 cases in Florida. So those are some disastrous numbers, right? So Ohio must be going through a similar spike, right? I mean, for these people to be so angry. No, turns out it's the opposite. The state of Ohio has actually managed to avoid an explosion in COVID-19 cases, and that's got people mad for some reason. Apparently, these rural Republicans want coronavirus. Now, the Columbus Dispatch is reporting that Republican leaders in Warren County had last week sent DeWine a rebuke that said that he had, quote, overstepped his bounds in trying to prevent the spread of the disease. Additionally, the paper reports that Republicans in 6 deeply red counties in the west central part of the state had sent DeWine a letter expressing similar disdain and accused him of, quote, disappointing your party faithful. One example of a person that's speaking out against DeWine is Shelby County Republican Chairwoman Teresa Kirk. She tells the Columbus Dispatch that while she voted for DeWine back in 2018, quote, what he's doing and the way he operates appears to be more like a Democrat or a Democratic governor. She specifically said that she was opposed to DeWine asking Ohio residents to wear face masks when they left their homes. Quote, I think that is up to us as citizens to decide if we want to go out and take a chance of getting it, if we want to wear a mask or not. Look, I know the conservative argument is, well, we're not children. You shouldn't have to tell us what to do. Well, okay, if you're not children, then stop acting like children and wear the goddamn mask. I mean, that's the thing, right? The people that are making the arguments that, hey, we should have a choice to wear a mask are, the only people making those arguments are the ones that don't want to wear the mask. Everybody else is like, yeah, we should have a choice, and I choose to wear the mask to keep everyone and myself safe. So that's why I'm not really arguing against this. But the people that are arguing against it only do so because they don't want to wear the freaking mask. And besides, that person, Kurg, is 100% wrong. It's not just about you. The mask doesn't just protect you. It protects people from you. If you're an asymptomatic carrier, which I read up to 40% of people could not experience symptoms and still able to spread the virus. I mean, come on, dude, really? Instead of saying, and this is amazing, right? Instead of saying, hey, wow, it's so great that us residents in Ohio don't have to deal with these gigantic spikes in places like Arizona, Florida, Texas, and yes, even the liberal state of California. I mean, they could be conservatives, why are you not dunking on California right now? Like, you could be like, ha ha, we in Ohio, we're kicking your ass, California, and we're all conservatives here. What are you guys doing wrong, huh? Well, instead, these conservatives are angry that they're not getting coronavirus. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Well, I don't know. It's my right. It's my right to go and get coronavirus, take up needed hospital space and ICU beds, and waste money on a ventilator and probably die. Freedom. It's called freedom. America. Jesus Christ. I wish people would understand that this virus doesn't just affect them, right? And that going and contracting this virus doesn't just affect them. They'll bring it home to their family. They'll bring it home to grandma and grandpa, right? They'll bring it to their friends. They'll bring it to anybody they haven't contact with. They don't understand how virulent this really is, how much more, easily it spreads and how deadly it is. I mean, look, they always make this comparison to the flu, right? So let me give you some numbers. According to global numbers. And so this takes into effect the rather low, right, death rates in European countries and the rather high death rate that we have here in America. On average, they look at the flu, right, which kills about 1% of people who get it, right? And again, those are global numbers. Coronavirus has killed 3.4% of those that we know had contracted it. And of course, what we're doing or what we're not doing here in America is not doing enough testing, right? We still are lagging behind tests, despite what the Trump administration is saying. We don't do enough testing. And so we don't necessarily know how many people have it. It could be a lot more than already the 2.5 million people who have it here in America. So that would, of course, look. I know the testing and the numbers of people who have it change, but you know what? You can't change the death rate, right? And that's really what matters. And right now, again, globally, it's killed about 3.4% of those who contract it. And then in America, I think it's going to be likely higher because what we have is a healthcare system that is not single payer. We have a healthcare system that is profit-based, profit-focused. And so that's not even taking into account right now the rising number of coronavirus cases and deaths. We have 126,000 deaths here in America, and the numbers of infected people are again rising. We really didn't even flatten the curve. What we did is we plateaued, and then now it's starting to spike even more. And the reason is it's because of people who don't want to wear their masks. They're not going to wear their masks, and they're not physically distancing themselves, and they're going out and partying. They're going to the bars. They don't care. All they look at is efforts to fight COVID-19 as stomping on their freedom. In reality, they're being selfish. And you know what? They're actually stomping on our freedom to be able to beat this virus and to go back to some semblance of normal. We're going to have to go and lock down again in certain areas. Again, bars are being closed in areas. What happened to freedom? No, you guys could have still went to the bars, but wore your masks and socially, physically distanced, and those bars would have still been open. You guys screwed it up. You screwed it up. And now you're making it so that all of us are going to continue to suffer. And not just, by the way, not being able to go out to our favorite restaurants, which are all closed or are going to close because of more coronavirus cases, but you're also hurting the economy in the long term. Everything that you say that you're against, you are actively doing by not being responsible, by being deeply irresponsible. And I absolutely hate it. And look, you know why everybody's doing better than we are in America? Except for Brazil. Brazil's a mess. But Brazil has their own Donald Trump-like president, and they're also not doing physical distancing, and they're also not wearing masks. So America and Brazil, and guess what? They have the second highest amount of cases. Second to America. Whereas Europe understands community, right? And they understand that, hey, maybe we should, all wear masks to protect each other because they're smart, right? Now, in America, though, we got people acting like spoiled children. I showed you a video yesterday of a woman who was asked to wear a mask in a grocery store who decided to get angry and start throwing her groceries all over the ground. Children, right? They think the world revolves around them and that we don't have the right to ask that they be temporarily inconvenienced by wearing a face covering out in public. It's not like we're asking for too much. Just a face covering. Jesus. But look, it's toxic individualism. That's what it is. and it's been infecting America for a long time, far longer than COVID, for decades. And look, I would love for that, for people to be able to choose to wear a mask and then choose to wear the mask. But they're not doing that. They're choosing not to wear the mask. And so that's why a lot of places have had to make it mandatory. Now, I hope DeWine doesn't cave to this pressure. I mean, he'd be really stupid to do so. But then again, he is a Republican, and that is his base. So you never really know. But I think if he does, I mean, that would be absolutely dangerous. It would be a dangerous thing to do, not only for his state, but also since we live in the same country. We can't exactly wall off Ohio or any of these other states. Well, it would be dangerous for the country. And really, we've got to get a handle on this virus. So wear the damn mask and do this physical distancing, or else we're never going to get over this thing. And we're never going to be able to go back to some semblance of normal. So stop being selfish and just wear the mask. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.